The following program is a paid presentation from the California Elder Law Center. The information and opinions expressed herein are solely those of the California Elder Law Center and are not the opinions of K-News, Alpha Media, management, or employees.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Elder Answers. This is the show where we get together every week and we discuss the major issues facing seniors in the United States today. Hi, everybody. This is Michael McGuire, elder law attorney with the California Elder Law Center, where every week we come and give you information that we have been able to glean from all different kinds of sources, information that may lead to a better outcome for you personally when it comes to the issue of long-term care. Maybe a better outcome as far as a peace of mind that you have created an estate plan that not only addresses the question that everybody wants to know when they do an estate plan, which is what happens when I die? Where does my stuff go? Do I protect people that I need to have protected to have peace of mind? How do I avoid any unnecessary taxes or fees or probate? And so that's all part and parcel of what we do. And in addition to that, as elder law attorneys, we answer yet another question, a question that has far more ramifications for our listeners than just the issues of standard estate planning. And that's the question of, what happens if I live? Who's going to take care of me? How am I going to pay? The extraordinary expense that everybody is challenged with when they reach out to us asking for, where can I get information? How do I get the right information? How do I know what's the real deal when it comes to long-term care issues? Is there any public benefit that I can reach out for the benefit of my spouse, my husband, my wife? Is there anything that I can get for the benefit of my mother or my father? And these issues keep coming up, and of course in our community they come up maybe more per square foot than just about anywhere else in the country, if you want to know the truth, because that's who we are. We are a community of people who many times have retired and are enjoying the benefits of living in a beautiful environment, and we're surrounded by beauty all day long, but we all have to deal with the reality that at some point in our lives we need a source of information, and that's what the California Elder Law Center has always been about. If you pick up the phone and you call 760-422-0404, 760-422-0404, you can get information. We will be there to take your call and get you information, maybe even arrange for a consultation if that's necessary, so that you'll have a clear understanding of what your rights are, what programs you can assume you may be qualified for when the time comes, or if you are in crisis, which is never the best time to be doing this kind of work, but still better than nothing, is that you can now move forward and get straight answers to, am I a veteran? Am I entitled to $2,200 a month, $26,000 a year tax-free because of my service in the armed services? Or was I married to, or am I married to a person who served during a period of war as a veteran through the VA? Or if I am going through the process of ending up going from the hospital to a rehab, what are my rights? Who's paying for the Medicare portion, the rehab portion? Who's paying for the long-term care portion? And how can I assure myself that I'm going to get the quality of care that I need and deserve, which is really the most important thing. And it's something now that everybody struggles with when they're involved with institutional care. You know, the landscape has changed forever. The other thing you could do is you can go to the website, www.cal-elder-law.com, cal-elder-law.com, and get information about participating in a teleconference, a Zoom meeting, if you will, so that you can get information in the comfort of your home. But I want to assure you that we have taken all sorts of safety precautions for people coming into the office. And now people are coming in with a sense of intensity and a sense of needing to address sources of anxiety and get this right, because we're dealing with a different world now than we were back in March and February. And so we're here to help you with those kinds of issues. You know, we've been doing this for a long time, 25 years. A lot of different permeations. We've seen just about all of it. And I will tell you something, what's going on in this world today is unlike anything I've ever seen. And I think I could speak for the entire elder law community. Nobody has ever addressed anything like what's happening today. You're going to need help. We have resources and information for you in a safe environment that's available for you to have a clear understanding. Now, here on the radio show, we bring you information every week. We've got some stuff for you this week that's a little bit different and unique. But if you need help today, you call 422-0404 and see if we cannot get you information that will help you address some of the issues that you're being faced with.
The cost of long-term care for yourself or a loved one can be financially devastating, but you can avoid going broke. That's how the California Elder Law Center will help you. You can access long-term care benefits through the VA, Medi-Cal, and other sources. But the process of getting those benefits can be daunting. That's where attorney Mick McGuire and the California Elder Law Center come to the rescue. Whether facing a hospital stay, currently in a rehab facility, an assisted living facility, or nursing home, immediate help is available. So now's the time to schedule an appointment for a free consultation. Our office is safe and virus-free. Call 760-422-0404. That's 760-422-0404. You'll learn so much about how to resolve your elder issues. It goes beyond paying for long-term care. With the help of an attorney at the California Elder Law Center, you can avoid the expense and delays of probate. You can protect your home, your family, and your assets. The system is complicated and frankly not user-friendly. But when you work with an attorney specializing in elder law, it's all so much easier. Call 760-422-0404 for a free meeting in our safe, virus-free office. That's 760-422-0404. Online, search Cal Elder Law. That's Cal Elder Law, helping you get the care you need and deserve. The California Elder Law Center.
You're listening to Elder Answers, and I'm Michael McGuire, elder law attorney with the California Elder Law Center. And for over 25 years, the California Elder Law Center has been addressing the issues and protecting the rights and the well-being of seniors throughout California. Along the way, there's been lots of information that has come and gone, forms that have changed, and one that you should all be aware of, a critically important form that should be part of everybody's estate plan, and typically is part of your estate plan, is something called the Advanced Health Care Directive. Now, 20 years ago, the Advanced Health Care Directive was created by law in California to replace a durable power of attorney for health care in conjunction with something called a living will. The living will addressed end-of-life issues. The durable power of attorney took care of medical issues. It was cumbersome having two different documents. It was inefficient and sometimes got quite turned around and got lost along the way. And so the state legislature changed and created something called the Advanced Health Care Directive. And California law recognizes that every adult has the fundamental right to control the decisions relating to his or her own health care, including the decision to have life-sustaining treatment withheld or withdrawn. The purpose of this form is to do either or both of the following things. One is name someone to make health care decisions for you. This person is called your health care agent. You may give your agent the ability to make decisions on your behalf immediately, or not unless you have become incapacitated. Your agent may make all health care decisions for you unless you impose limits on the agent's authority. You may name alternate agents to act on your behalf if your first choice is not able to make a decision, or if you want a couple of or three people, perhaps even, to make decisions jointly on your behalf. And two, it's to give instructions and express preferences about your health care to direct your agent or health care providers if there is ever a time when you cannot state your preferences. Because it is very difficult to anticipate your future health care scenarios, and it is most important to give your agent or health care providers an idea of what is most important to you when choosing medical treatment. To be clear, this form does not give your agent any ability to manage your financial affairs. It is limited to health care decisions only. Notwithstanding that you've signed this form, you have the right to make health care decisions for yourself, so long as you can give informed consent to that particular decision. In addition, no treatment may be given to you over your objection, and health care necessary to keep you alive may not be stopped or withheld if you object at any time unless a court of law has determined otherwise. This form will not be valid unless it is either signed by two qualified witnesses or that it's notarized. Now, it only makes good sense this form should be easily accessible in case of a healthcare emergency. Each agent and alternate agent should have a copy of this executed document, as well as your healthcare providers. Keep the original in a secure location. You have the right to revoke or replace this form at any time, and this form is meant to be completed with the help of an attorney or a representative of a legal services organization that is supervised by an attorney. Now, that's the statutory disclosure for you. And basically what an advanced healthcare directive is doing is two jobs. One, I can't make a medical decision on my own, and I'm counting on somebody to do it for me. And the second thing is I've made a decision about how I want end of life to go. I am telling the world how I want it to go, and it's my agent's job to enforce my wishes. That's not something my agent can make that decision for me, but they can enforce my wishes. That's what you're trying to accomplish. Now, oftentimes there are built into these documents, and it's really important that you decide who this agent is going to be or agents are going to be, because that's, at the end of the day, who's going to be making decisions for you on your behalf during that period of time in which you cannot make a decision for yourself. So in terms of the legal language that's involved in the document, the principal is you. This is your document. This is the person who signs and executes the Advanced Healthcare Directive and subsequently receives or rejects healthcare treatment. The agent, that's the person that you have selected by the principal to make healthcare decisions on your behalf if you become incapacitated to make decisions. Principals do not have to select an agent to complete this document, however. You can go forward and complete it even if you haven't named anybody as of yet. Somewhere along the line you're going to want to do that, but you could do it just to express your wishes for not just levels of care, but also end-of-life issues. It would also include things like, do you want to be buried or do you want to be cremated? Do you want to be an organ donor? Is there somebody that you for sure don't want to be an agent? You can name that person and identify them so they can never get in control of the situation. So selecting an agent is an important job for you. Selecting the agent may very well be the most important component to the Advanced Healthcare Directive when you think about it. There are several considerations regarding selecting an agent, many of which are covered in the... So this is Michael McGuire, elder law attorney at the California Elder Law Center. We're discussing at this point advanced health care directives and something that's really important about how do you come up with the agent that's going to make these decisions for you. Here's a little bit of something that you might want to be thinking about, a checklist, if you will. The following, it's a brief list of issues to consider when selecting an agent when executing an advanced health care directive. And while the ideal agent is often a spouse or domestic partner or an adult child, other individuals can also be good choices. These are a few of the more important questions to consider in choosing an individual to serve as your agent. Is the proposed agent a person who knows you well, a person with whom you can easily discuss your health care wishes, someone that you really trust? Does the proposed agent live nearby? Does the proposed agent have religious or other beliefs that would prevent him or her from carrying out your health care wishes? Is the proposed agent in good health? Can the proposed agent withstand tough pressure from relatives and friends? Is the proposed agent willing to act on your behalf? As your agent, will the proposed agent benefit from your will or estate plan? Such an individual may have a potential conflict of interest. Will the proposed agent be a forceful advocate on your behalf with your medical providers? Can you count on this person to follow your instructions? And that's something that takes a little bit of introspection, doesn't it? I will mention something else to you that is more relevant out here perhaps than anywhere else, in that so many of our listeners are people that their family is not close by, or they may not have any family. They may not have anybody that they can count on to step in and take care of these kinds of issues. That's very, very difficult to deal with. And that really explains how so many of our clients that are in that position are interested in getting information about a geriatric care manager or perhaps even a nurse practitioner to protect and shield them and to be there for them when the time comes later on for somebody to step up that A, understands their issues, and B, is in a position to help take the burden off of anybody who's too far away. In other words, to be their eyes and ears for family, even though they may live several hours away. You know, the reality is there's actually an association that addresses this issue. It's called the Unbefriended. It's sort of a sad appellation, but there it is. And the truth of the matter is that about 20% of people over the age of 80 in the United States really don't have any family, or their family is so remote as to not be realistic to be of a help to them. And those people should be doing some planning. They should be giving some thought to this. They should be considering whether or not they want to include these kinds of resources. That is, engage a nurse practitioner or perhaps a geriatric care manager so that that person could be part and parcel of their care during a phase of their life in which they need support. They need somebody. Now, the legal side can be all done as far as the paperwork is concerned and done ahead of time, but the holistic medical side should be done as well ahead of time so that that person knows who you are. We just recently had a client who's is struggling living alone, has got some infirmities that make it very difficult for him to have mobility, but one of his issues is that he's not in a position, nor does he have much of a desire to be cooking meals. Well, he was introduced to an individual who is a nurse practitioner who does have that resource and was in a position to be able to put him in touch with a nutritionist who creates meals according to his taste and yet respect the boundaries of his diabetic state so that he's eating healthy but tasty, appealing food. That is no small part of his lament, is that he couldn't find providers of meals that respected the boundaries for somebody who's a diabetic, but at the same time came up with dishes that he liked. It's as simple as that. Those are the kind of holistic things you want to deal with when you're talking to an elder law attorney or an elder law firm that recognize these kinds of issues, are able to support you, and then able to provide documentation for you. And believe me, if you have effective documentation that's comprehensive, that is something that is encouraged and really, really helpful for your physician or for the hospital. When they're trying to take care of you, they have a clear picture of who to contact. They got names, they got phone numbers, they got email addresses, and they know the document is such a document that can be read and will be respected so that in your hour of need, the people that you're counting on will be there to protect you.
The cost of long-term care for yourself or a loved one can be financially devastating, but you can avoid going broke. That's how the California Elder Law Center will help you. You can access long-term care benefits through the VA, Medi-Cal, and other sources. But the process of getting those benefits can be daunting. That's where attorney Mick McGuire and the California Elder Law Center come to the rescue. Whether facing a hospital stay, currently in a rehab facility, an assisted living facility, or nursing home, immediate help is available. So now's the time to schedule an appointment for a free consultation. Our office is safe and virus-free. Call 760-422-0404. That's 760-422-0404. You'll learn so much about how to resolve your elder issues. It goes beyond paying for long-term care. With the help of an attorney at the California Elder Law Center, you can avoid the expense and delays of probate. You can protect your home, your family, and your assets. The system is complicated and frankly not user-friendly. But when you work with an attorney specializing in elder law, it's all so much easier. Call 760-422-0404 for a free meeting in our safe, virus-free office. That's 760-422-0404. Online, search Cal Elder Law. That's Cal Elder Law, helping you get the care you need and deserve. The California Elder Law Center.
This is Michael McGuire, elder law attorney with the California Elder Law Center. And you know, there's so much in the news, there's so much going on, there's a lot of conflicting information. Is that one of the things that we do here at the California Elder Law Center is we stay closely in touch with the Center for Medicare Advocacy. That's the Center for Medicare Advocacy. You have complete access to that individual organization yourself. It's Medicare, MEDICARE, advocacy, ADVOCACY.org. They are an absolute fountain of accurate and complete and well-documented information in all different forms, either all the way to the official federal statutes down to a quick cursory layperson presentation of information for you about everything you ever wanted to know about Medicare. And they have recently issued a press release that I think is very, very important for all of us that are interested in Medicare and are getting a little bit confused about everything that's going on in the news and what's in front of the Supreme Court and what isn't. One of the things that is of great interest to seniors and should be of great interest to seniors, on November 10th, 2020, the Supreme Court is going to be hearing a case called California v. Texas. And what it is, the Department of Justice will be making the argument that the Affordable Care Act is unconstitutional and as a result must be struck down. There will be no more Affordable Care Act if the Department of Justice, that is the Attorney General of the United States, has their way in this case before the Supreme Court. Now, they have already dealt with the issue and the individual mandates, but this raises the question of the entire law, the Affordable Care Act, being declared unconstitutional. That sends everybody back to square one. What you should know is that while the Affordable Care Act obviously dealt with the individual insurance markets and the expansion of Medicaid, it has been the focus of a lot of media coverage. The law has affected every part of the healthcare system, including Medicare. Medicare, that's the program for those of you 65 and over. That's your health insurance. The Affordable Care Act is woven into Medicare with over 165 provisions impacting and affecting Medicare. Many of those provisions provided new benefits or reinforced other benefits, and they did it in such a way that not only does it give you more as a recipient of Medicare, but it also strengthened the financial well-being of the Medicare system. Something that should be important to every senior so that you know you'll have your Medicare today, you'll have it tomorrow, and it will not be threatened by politics back in Washington or lawsuits by the Department of Justice. Now, that's critically important to all of us because what that means is that those different kinds of benefits are going to make a huge difference in the quality of our health care. if we are seniors. For instance, one of the benefits of the Affordable Care Act's impact on Medicare was the providing at no cost of preventative annual physicals for all Medicare recipients. This is a way to prevent you having issues that are much bigger, catching them earlier on, and it's a great opportunity for everybody to be conscientious about their health care. There's another major issue, and that came underneath the Affordable Care Act, changed the Medicare Part D program. Now, Part D is a catastrophic prescription drug program. And it was based upon the idea that you would have to pay an insurance premium for catastrophic insurance coverage. That coverage would then help protect and shield you from what could be enormous, financially destructive need for prescription drugs that are incredibly expensive and are necessary for your well-being, even to protect your life. Now, not only did you have to pay a premium every month for that coverage underneath Part D, but it created something called the donut hole, which was, in essence, is a extremely large, several $1,000 large deductible that kicked in each and every year, started all over again, and then that required the person who was on this program, sometimes looking at prescription drugs that cost $5,000, $10,000 a month. That person had to shell out huge amounts of money up front before the program even kicked in. Well, underneath the Affordable Care Act, they changed that structure, and they changed it for a specific reason. Lots of people were underneath this new program for catastrophic prescription drug coverage, but they were suffering from trying to come up with the money. And what they were doing is they were cutting down, trying to make it stretch. What they would do is, if they had a prescription that called for 30 tablets to be in there, they would cut them in half so it would last for 60 days, now 30 days. Well, that just kills the whole issue. That's dangerous to be doing that. And you want the full benefit of this stuff underneath Medicare. The Affordable Care Act put aside that donut hole and allowed you as an individual who are on Medicare, who are faced with huge medical expenses in the form of prescription drug prices, which, by the way, have become the major money driver in the Medicare system. If we're threatened by anything underneath Medicare, it's that the pharmaceutical companies are making billions, sometimes trillions of dollars. So what the Affordable Care Act did is that the Affordable Care Act included a provision to phase out the coverage gap for both brand name and generic drugs by the year 2020. That's today. The Bipartisan Budget Act of 2018 made additional changes to the coverage gap, closing the Part D coverage gap for brand name drugs in 2019 instead of 2020. Closing the donut hole eased the medication affordability crisis for beneficiaries, with billions of dollars in savings of drug costs to the system and to the Medicare recipients. Undoing the Affordable Care Act would jeopardize drug coverage for millions of Medicare beneficiaries. Reinstating the coverage gap would increase costs for Part D enrollees who have relatively high drug spending. Closing the donut hole was very popular with the public. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation in 2018, 81% of the public, 79% of seniors had a favorable view that the Affordable Care Act gradually closes the Medicare prescription drug donut hole or coverage gap so people on Medicare will no longer be required to pay the full cost of their medications until they have spent all that deductible money. We know that as the donut hole. This is not a political argument. This is a health care argument. This is your health insurance that is at stake. Your health insurance is being sacrificed on the altar of politics. That is unconscionable, it's unacceptable, and frankly, it's a disgrace. Medicare isn't something that anybody gave you. Medicare is something you've been paying into the system since the day you got a job, probably, because the system began on January 1st, 1966. And if you've had a pay stub, if you had a job since January 1st of 1966, you paid for this coverage. out of every single paycheck. That's right. Every 2 weeks, if you got a check from somebody somewhere and a job, you paid. If you were self-employed, you paid. And so the whole nonsensical approach to this stuff that somehow you're getting welfare because you're a senior is a disgrace to even broach that subject, let alone to take advantage of this for political purposes. For some reason, some politicians are adamantly against the Affordable Care Act for the simple reason that it's not their program. Unfortunately, they don't have anything to replace it, and that's untenable for a senior. A senior is not somebody to be played with politically. Seniors need these meds, and they can't afford to be spending enormous amounts of money. I have a neighbor who has prostate cancer who is on a special drug that costs $30,000 a month. Now, that drug has saved his life. That drug has prolonged his life. But that drug would have been absolutely out of reach for him had it not been for his health insurance through Medicare and through his benefits, frankly, from the Veterans Administration. Well, not all of us are going to get benefits from the Veterans Administration, but we do all get Medicare if we've paid into the system, and we have. We all have. The Affordable Care Act is not something to be destroyed. The Affordable Care Act is to be something to be enhanced, to be worked on. You should be realistic about this. On January 1st, 1966, Medicare was passed into law and became real. And from that day forward, they have been changing it, tweaking it, adapting it to the current situation to include enhancements, to recognize that they didn't have all the nuts and bolts in where they were supposed to have them. And so there's not a day goes by that they don't change something. They don't issue some kind of an interpretation of the rules. And that's the way it should be, because life and experience issues have changed dramatically since 1966. And so what worked then does not work now and needs to be tweaked, to be changed, to be able to address and be flexible enough, and it is. The Affordable Care Act provided 165 enhancements to Medicare for seniors, people over the age of 65. 165. If the court rules against the Affordable Care Act on November 10th, we are out of business as to those 165 enhancements. They're gone. They're not gone in a day, by the way. They're gone in the stroke of a pen. The amount of time it takes for them to issue the decision and get over to the CMS that's going to be the last day. So you need to be cognizant of it. You need to be informed about this because this is critically important to you. It's important to everybody age 65 on up because Medicare is a direct beneficiary to you of you living longer. The unknown benefit of Medicare was longevity. You live, ladies, 7 years longer than you did in 1966, and that's directly attributable to you having access to great, affordable health care. Health care that's affordable enhances the quality of lives and the society we live in. Let your voices be heard. Call up Washington and say, get your hands off of my Medicare.
The cost of long-term care for yourself or a loved one can be financially devastating, but you can avoid going broke. That's how the California Elder Law Center will help you. You can access long-term care benefits through the VA, Medi-Cal, and other sources. But the process of getting those benefits can be daunting. That's where attorney Mick McGuire and the California Elder Law Center come to the rescue. Whether facing a hospital stay, currently in a rehab facility, an assisted living facility, or nursing home, immediate help is available. So now's the time to schedule an appointment for a free consultation. Our office is safe and virus-free. Call 760-422-0404. That's 760-422-0404. You'll learn so much about how to resolve your elder issues. It goes beyond paying for long-term care. With the help of an attorney at the California Elder Law Center, you can avoid the expense and delays of probate. You can protect your home, your family, and your assets. The system is complicated and frankly not user-friendly. But when you work with an attorney specializing in elder law, it's all so much easier. Call 760-422-0404 for a free meeting in our safe, virus-free office. That's 760-422-0404. Online, search Cal Elder Law. That's Cal Elder Law, helping you get the care you need and deserve. The California Elder Law Center.
This is Michael McGuire, elder law attorney with the California Elder Law Center. And you're listening to Elder Answers, where every week we come to you and bring you information that we think may be relevant to seniors or the people taking care of seniors in this great country of ours. There's an issue going around that seems to have gotten the attention of more than a few of us, and it's called the pandemic. And we're getting information bombarding us from every side. I have been sharing information over the past, coming up on a year, I guess, maybe 9 months. Sometimes I've struck a nerve and I've been told to stop being political. Actually, I wasn't being political. I was quoting information with regards to that response from the Stanford Medical Center and the experts there who, very early on in this program, began the process of trying to educate the public to protect yourselves. We're trying to protect ourselves and our respect for our neighbor, trying to protect other people. There's an issue that was recently in Prevention Magazine, I think is worth us visiting and just chatting about, if you will. And that is it safe to get on an airplane and take a trip? Is that something that's safe for us to do? Well, there's a lot of maybes and there's a lot of depends in that response. And what you really got to keep in the back of your mind is that a lot of this makes a lot of sense, even more so today than it did earlier in this pandemic, because the information is better. And what is the information is better? Well, we know that it's transmitted through the air. That we know. That's how crowded airplanes have always been a place to spread infections around. I've traveled many, many times during January and February going to conferences all over the country, and I can assure you that the legendary cases of coming home with terrific head colds is living proof as far as I'm concerned about what went on in airplanes. But now today, because of what's happened here, is there's a different approach to this. Here's what we know. We do know that COVID is transmitted through the air. That's an issue. And we do know that influenza and common colds are too. And so if you have a mask, if you're wearing a mask, it's very effective to protect you. And if you happen to be somebody who is at that time infected yourself, a spreader, if you will be protecting your neighbors. Now, what they have suggested is that your own health is going to be a big part of whether or not you decide to get on an airplane. And the CDC wants you to know that, look, if you're coughing, you're sneezing, those droplets are going to land, and they're going to land on the eyes, noses, and mouths of other people around you. Now, they have a lot better filtering systems in the airplanes today than they did when this whole thing started, but still, if you're not feeling good, and you should check this to make sure if you're not feeling good, or you have going to be taking a trip and you might want to get tested to see where you're at before you do that. Of course, your first consideration is I don't know how far it is you're flying, but would you be better off driving? That way you know you're safe. And for seniors, that's paramount, isn't it? So you want to know what's the most effective way from you to get from here to there. Well, it's probably not too practical that you're going to get on an airplane in Los Angeles or Palm Springs and you're going to fly to New York as opposed to getting in your car and driving there. That's not going to be very practical. So what do you do? What do you do? Well, if you've got a fever, don't do it. Delay or cancel your trip. It's as simple as that. If you're feeling achy, if you have any of the symptoms, don't do it. I would suggest that you, of course, wear your mask, and many of the airlines require you to wear the mask. Some of them, unfortunately, are getting a little bit lax about that, and that would be an airline that if I were you, I would not travel on. There are still some airlines, I think Alaska and Delta, that will not be using the middle seat. I think that's huge, the ability to have space. You should take a lot of wipes with you, disinfectant wipes, and when you get on that airplane, you should wipe down everything, the armrest, the tray in front of you, everything that you potentially could be touching because you're going to be there for a while. When you're in the airport, you need to be very, very discreet about not hanging out where it's very crowded. That's not the easiest thing to do around a gate, but you're going to have to make an effort to spread out. And that means if you can't sit on those seats, then maybe you'd be better off just to stand off to the side and wait until they call for your flight. I think if you need to go to the restroom, you're going to want to not stand in line with a bunch of other people waiting. So space yourself out that you can get there and back during a period of time which there's not a long line at the bathrooms at the back of the plane or the front, wherever they're located. You don't want to be standing there breathing in or breathing out during that time. I think you should be very conscientious about calling the airline and asking them what kind of measures they have taken. What are they doing at the gate? You know, I think another thing that I believe in very much, and we do here in our office, I will assure you of that, is that we use face shields. Now, clients come in, they're wearing a mask. I may have a mask on, but I will give one more layer of protection by putting a face shield on. And that allows us to have a certain comfort level. If they want a face shield, we will give them one. We have them here. Now, we keep an air filter right in the room. We have an acrylic divider. Well, you can't do those kinds of things on an airplane. And the recirculated air, according to the airlines now, is much better with hepatic type filters built into the system that are far more efficient than what there were before the pandemic. You know, if you're waiting to get your luggage or you're waiting in line to check in, is space yourself out. Keep distance between you. That 6 feet recommendation is for a reason. It's because it works. So a mask, perhaps a face shield, plenty of hand washing, hand wipes, that when you get on the plane, when you're getting off the plane, when you're getting your baggage, all of those things. If you're getting into a cab on the other end, have those hand wipes ready. Be in a situation in which you've got as much protection as possible every step of the way on your journey. You know, this process of what we're living through is tedious, it's anxiety causing, and it's really something that we have to live with for our own well-being and for the well-being of others. You have to give a little bit of thought that if you're getting on an airplane to go back east somewhere perhaps and visit your family, is that you want to know that you took every single reasonable precaution not to be carrying anything to them. This is particularly interesting to us during this holiday season. And as people tend to move around and visit with each other and want to get together for Thanksgiving and want to get together over the December holidays, we want to make sure we've done everything we can reasonably, sensibly, and responsibly to protect ourselves, to protect our loved ones and our families and our visitors or the people that we are visiting. You know, taking these steps is a measure of responsibility for each and every one of us, for each and every other person that we share this society with. We have a responsibility to each other. We have a responsibility that we willingly accept and will use during this period of time. And even if for whatever reason you don't particularly ascribe to the efficacy of wearing a mask, do it anyway, if for no other reason then you are participating in society, and we're following the guidelines that have been provided to us by the scientists, by the CDC, by Johns Hopkins, by the epidemiologists that are the leading scientists on Earth that are available to us, thank God, here in the United States. We're going to get through all this. There's going to be an end to it. And we very much want you to be there at the end of all this. We don't want our lives to be so distorted that we can't have any joy in our lives. And so if you're anticipating traveling, you want to make all those different kind of precautions part of your routine. You know, you check the oil, you get gas in your car, you got to make sure you have a ride out to the airport on a timely fashion. You got to get your boarding pass either there or get it printed up at home. Your bags are packed. They don't weigh too much. All those things that are part and parcel of traveling. Well, this is now something else that's part and parcel of traveling, is to make sure when you get on an airline, you get into an airplane, that you're protected. First, primarily for yourself, get yourself a plastic face shield to go along with that mask. You're going to be there for a while. While you're getting off of that plane, when you're getting on that plane, is make sure you distance from others in the terminal. When you're at the baggage claim area, make sure you distance. Don't bunch up. If your suitcase takes a trip around the track one time extra, go ahead and let it go by if you can't get it. Don't worry about jamming and elbowing in there. Protect yourselves. If you get into a cab or you call an Uber or whatever it is, your transportation leaving the airport, getting to the airport, wipe everything down and wear your mask. That way we know you can have a safe and enjoyable trip. You can be with your loved ones. And by the way, pick an airline that's making all those precautions standard operating procedure. Pick the ones that don't sell that middle seat and give you a little bit of extra comfort and protection. And so for the California Elder Law Center is worried about you. I'm worried about myself and my clients, and we want you to be informed. We want you to be having the ability to travel safely and sanely wherever your travels take you. This is Michael McGuire, elder law attorney with the California Elder Law Center. You know, we cover a lot of ground today, a lot of different issues. But the one thing I want to leave you with is that when's the best time to do your planning? When's the best time to be most effective? When is the best time to sit down with your family and say, okay, we have to make some changes. We have put some planning in place. We have documents, and here's where they are, and this is how you get a hold of them. This is who's going to be your contact person when something happens, and something is always going to happen one way or the other. We all know that. But now it's become unique. Now it's become very, very intense. And that's why you want to know as much as you can about getting yourselves prepared, to have a trust that functions so that you can work not just in the world of avoiding probate and protecting your family, but also works in the world of public benefits, whether that's Medi-Cal paying for the $10,000 a month to be in a nursing home, or accessing, if it applies to you, veterans benefits worth as much as $26,000 a year, tax-free. Money for you, money for your spouse. And so as you start moving through these different kinds of issues and you're groping for somewhere to get somebody to give you a straight answer about how the system works, that's when you want to pick up the phone and call 760-422-0404. We're getting ready to launch a series of Zoom meetings in which you'll have an opportunity to sit in on some discussions. It'll be a substitute for the workshops we've always provided for this entire valley over the last 5-6 years, which we can no longer do that because of the pandemic, but we can do it electronically for those of you that simply want a fast, easy way to participate and get some information, get the ball rolling. Go to www.cal-elder-law.com. cal-elder-law.com. That'll get the ball rolling for you. Or if you need to come in and make a reservation and come in for a consultation, that's 760-422-0404. For those of you that are somewhat remote, maybe you're in Banning or Beaumont, or you're up in 29 Palms or Landers or Yucca Valley, if you're down in Brawley or Borrego Springs or the Salton Sea area, or even El Centro, and you need to get information and you need it now. Blythe is another one. Simply pick up the phone and call, and you may want to have a Zoom consultation. If your kids are located in a different city, maybe they're not even in California, and they need to get some information to help you out, we can do it that way as well. So the idea here is to get information in your hands so you make a good quality decision for yourself. You can protect yourself. Listen, when they ask people what's important to them, they always say the same thing. And the things that they say is, number one, I want to stay at home. Well, that's something that you have to plan for. That's something you have to be prepared to fund, and you need to be prepared to make sure you have a safety net around you that's functional. The second thing is they don't want to go broke. They don't want to be turned into a bag lady. They don't want to use up the family's funds for one spouse and leave the surviving spouse a pauper, destroyed financially after having been a caregiver for a year, 2 years, maybe 5 years. You know, dealing with a dementia patient, something like 45% of the time, the well spouse dies first. That's the definition of chaos. And the reason that well spouse can't keep up with that is the load is just too much for them. They need help. But they didn't know where to turn to. They didn't know where to get the information. And they, most importantly, didn't know where to get any money to help them out. And so as you're going through this process, you need to know that you can stay at home perhaps. You are able to avoid going broke, and you don't have to be a burden on your children. But you do need information, and you do have to make a decision. You have to take some action. You have to do something. Because if you leave this until you're laying flat on your back in a gurney in the ER, you're doing yourself and your family a serious disservice. Why don't you pick up the phone and call 760-422-0404. Let's get you started with information. It's free. It's easy. It makes you much stronger in this conversation when the time comes. Because of the unique world we're in right now, you are at a terrible, terrible disadvantage. You are at a disadvantage based upon the profitability demands of the corporate owners of these different facilities. That's not a good spot for you to be in as an elderly individual dealing with this issue on your own with a sick spouse. That's not a good spot for you to be in trying to take care of your mother or your father who is struggling with either a debilitating physical ailment or, the worst of all of them, the mental incapacity that comes from the ravages of Alzheimer's and dementia. Take care of things today so that you can have a much better, calmer, more successful tomorrow. That's what planning is all about. That's what the California Elder Law Center wants to do for you. 760-422-0404. This is Michael McGuire, elder law attorney with the California Elder Law Center, saying thank you for being with us, and we look forward to joining you again next week.
A child struggling to speak. It's often a developmental disability that can leave a child frustrated and isolated. Life-changing treatment by professional speech therapists is available at no cost to the family. It's at the Stan and Bobby Gold Right Care Childhood Language Center in Palm Desert. We need your donation. On your phone or computer, search Gold Right Care. That's Gold, R-I-T-E, Care. From the Palm Springs Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Give a child the gift of speech.